Ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever thought about going on an overlanding expedition, today we found the ultimate vehicle. This is a 2021 Earth Cruiser that only has 3,700 miles on it. It's in like new condition and is for sale by the original owner here in Bradenton, Florida for $390,000. And these are going for about $600,000 to $650,000 brand new. So this is an incredible opportunity for someone. And I've wanted to get a closer look of one of these. I've wanted to test drive one. So I'm really looking forward to showing you guys a tour of this rig, taking it for a test drive and showing you some of the features that make this the ultimate overlanding vehicle. Now, starting up front here, this is going to be on the Fuso chassis, which is owned by Mitsubishi. You got the alloy bull bar here, and then you can see the skid plates below as well with that Earth Cruiser logo in the skid plate. And this is a V8 gas engine. It's got a dual start battery. It's a cab over rig. And up front here, we've got the light bar, a Warn winch, and then there's a front hitch as well. If you needed to hitch something from the front of the vehicle, you can see the tow hooks here. And then one of the cool things about this is you can use it as a step. That'll make cleaning your windshield super easy. Then it's got this really robust roof rack around the frame of the coach and multiple light bars here. You can see it's got the collision mitigation. That's the mobile eye detection system in the front windshield here. And the front axle is a solid axle with custom tuned leaf springs for the front and rear shocks. It's going to have the shock absorbers as well. There's going to be 2.5 inches with the nitrogen gas. Notice cameras around the coach. And I'm calling this a coach. I'm using that word a little loosely. I think this is more of the ultimate off-roading rig. Now, Earth Cruiser has the kinetic mounting system. So you can see the cab is separate from the box, and you can see that rubber between the cab and the box so that when there's flex going on, the chassis isn't flexing, but the house side is able to flex. And this is going to have the master volt system. That's going to have a 3,000 watt inverter, 800 amp hours of solar, 2 alternators. That was a big option that the owner opted for as well, where it'll charge to 100% status in about an hour if you're going down the road, but it can also charge at idle. This is one of the rare units that has the double cab. So you've got an extra cab up front. A lot of them are going to be the single cab. I know that's an expensive option. When we look on the interior here, you can see it's a very rugged feel. It's got the rubber floor, and there is extra insulation in the cab. And then when we look here, there's actually a curtain as well that will come down. And with that curtain, the nice thing about that is if you're running the AC and you're dry camping, it's not gonna let any of that air go into the cab because you do have quite a bit of square footage of cabin space in your cab. So you want to conserve your cool air as much as possible when you're running the AC. But I really like the versatility of being able to use this extra space for extra storage. If you want to bring a bunch of food or water and need more storage, this is a great space for it. Or if you wanted to have a third person come along, I think this could be utilized as a bed too. It'd be big enough to sleep. It's got 4 seat belts in the back here and then 2 seat belts in front. So 6 seat belts in the cab and 2 more in the rig. We're gonna take it for a test drive in a little bit, but let me show you some of the cool basement bays. It's got a really utilitarian look. And when we unlatch this and then pull this up, it's got a storage bay below here. You can see that magnet just grabbed on there. And here's some of our storage below. Very robust build quality. Everything on this coach, you can see the Rhino liner on the bottom half. This is gonna be for the cassette toilet. This one does not have a cassette toilet. It's gonna have a composting toilet. We'll show you that in the interior in a moment. I really like the Earth Cruiser logo on this bay door. Earth Cruiser is out of Bend, Oregon. So really well-known company. Here's some storage back here, and then your air conditioning system, your manifold system, and this is gonna have 2 freshwater tanks, tank 1 and tank 2. And this has 2 freshwater tanks. One is gonna be 60 gallons and one is 30 gallons, so 90 gallons total. And then a 60-gallon gas tank. This is not a diesel rig, this is gas, so you're not dealing with DEF. And then this spigot right here, you can use as a water inlet or outlet. And I'll open this compartment back up and show you there's a little lever for the outside drain here. Then we've got filtered water as well. I think the water filters are housed back here. And again, that cool Earth Cruiser logo machined into this metal piece here. you know, as well as your labels for your tanks. And there is some full pass-through storage here if you've got, you know, snow skis or narrow, long items that you want to store, fishing poles and whatnot. Yeah, then it looks like we've got a hydraulic jack housed in this little compartment below. And coming around to the rear, we've got a spare tire, and this does have a winch system that will winch this tire down. And if you have to switch your tire on the fly, then it'll winch it back up. You can see a worn winch here, and then 3 trailer hitches. This is the main trailer hitch, but then if you want to have bicycles or something, they've got a few extra. And this is a 16,500 pound winch. The winch on the front is 16,500 pounds as well. This has a 7,700 pound towing capacity, and then this does have a storage compartment. So I know this rig was heavily optioned by the original owner. Some good extra storage in this locking compartment. And then this is something I had to learn what this is. If you ever get into a situation where you're maybe stuck in some sand, it's got these tracks to help you get unstuck if you're in a tough situation. And here we've got more storage. You can see the holding tanks. It looks like that's a stainless steel water tank. And this is just gonna show the durability of an earth cruiser. A lot of the RVs that we deal with are gonna have plastic holding tanks. So just really a rugged build. And it looks like a Bosch appliance here. It looks like that might be a water heater next to the water tank. So high-end appliances. And then another storage compartment here. It looks like some air hoses with some of the winch controls. So if you need to pump up one of your tires, it's got an onboard air compressor. You get your 2 freshwater fills on this side, one for your 30-gallon freshwater tank and one for your 60-gallon freshwater tank. And then over on this side, we've got another storage compartment, all extremely robust, you know, built out of metal, heavy duty. And then I like this magnet system, holds everything into place. Here we've got a ladder if you want to climb on the roof. This does have 800 amp hours of solar up top. And I haven't done this before, but I'm gonna assume it's easiest to open the door. You've got a grab handle here, another step right here, another grab handle, and then a roof rack above your cab. And I'm gonna jump up on top of this roof rack here. This is gonna be super robust grade. I mean, check this out. You could probably maybe even set up a tent up here. Definitely put some heavy duty equipment on the roof here. And then here, this was an option that this owner opted to have. This is an extra air chuck right here. So that's gonna also work off the air compressor if you do need to air up your tires or air something up and don't have as long of a hose. That's gonna make it easier. You can see the huge 37-inch off-road tires with the blacked out method wheels. But as cool as this exterior is, I think you guys are gonna really like the interior. And then we're gonna take it for a test drive. So we just pulled this rig into its home here where it's garage kept, but let's take a look at the interior. Now, as soon as we step in, this is gonna be kind of the mud room. I like the thought process here. So if you're dirty, get showered up, get cleaned up right away. Now you have a sink right here, but you can bring the shower up top here, and now your shower's right here. And then you can kind of get a nice view while you're showering, depending on where you're parked. And if you want to keep the bugs out, you do have this screen that you can easily drop. And that will zip up. And then now you can get some fresh air, but still keep the bugs out. Or if you want to have some more privacy, you can close your door where you're now sealed off from the outside world. And there is a peephole here if someone does knock at your door and you're out overlanding and you want to see what's going on outside. And if you do want some privacy and you have someone else staying with you, you have this sliding door here. It's gonna give it a sealed off look. And then behind that, we do have some storage here. So some nice drawer space right here. And it's a very robust, you know, simple build, more of a minimalistic style, but high build quality. And then back here we have one of the 2 AC units. This runs on 12 volt. This is a similar system that a lot of the truckers use in semi-trucks, tractor trailers. And then we've got a very large bed along the back with a fan. And then these windows can open up, and then they're gonna either have day shades or night shades if you want to have it, you know, fully blacked out. And then we've got the option to open it up if you want to get some fresh air. We've got a few latches here, and then those will open up and you can get a nice cross breeze if you'd like. And I like the way that automatically stayed in place. Very simple build, you know, every latch is easy to use. We've got map lights around the rig. And the way this is insulated, this is a 4-season coach. So if it's hot outside, it's built to keep that cool air in, or if you're using the rig in the winter, it's gonna keep the warm air inside. Now here in the galley, we have a pretty robust sink. And this is something I've never seen before with this rubber neck on the sink here. Then it's got the induction cooktop, dual induction cooktop, little spot for trash there. And then we've got a marine style refrigerator, pull out, super clean. And then some good countertop space here for cooking, some more storage. And some good deep drawers. It looks like a little Bose Bluetooth speaker housed in this compartment. More storage below the sink, so a lot of drawer space. And then it's got actually some storage below the bed back here. So this will lift up. And then you can see a good amount of storage underneath the bed, and then a safe hidden in the corner. And this is all lined with carpet. Very minimalistic, but very simple. Here you've got your Panasonic microwave. That was an option. A lot of the breakers here, simple Webasto heating controls. And then here we can control the, monitor our electrical system, the master volt system. So right now we can see there's, 16 amps going out. But when we turn on that alternator, that's going to charge up very quickly. Right now the inverter's on. You can scroll through all of the different screens to monitor your electrical system. And then we've got USB ports directly below that master volt control panel. And then coming up towards the front of the rig, we've got a really versatile area with opposing seating, and then this table that will swivel. And then we've got that pass through. If you want to climb through, you can move this table out of the way, kind of all the way on one side. Now we have a much more open area up here, much easier to climb through. The TV's mounted above that. And we have a second AC unit up front here. And then this is a little spot up here that's kind of, he said this could be for a coffee maker. So we have this storage compartment up here with outlets in it and USB ports and a little on-off switch for that. And when you open and close all these cabinets, they're very marine grade. And then a lot of the business stuff is going to be easily accessible. So there's different panels throughout this coach. On the floor here, there's a panel that we could lift up where there's storage below, or you can access the holding tanks. Up front here, we've got a lot of the fuses underneath this compartment. So we just pull the cushion up. Below that is a little cubby, and then you can see right here, you've got a lot of your electrical management, your house batteries, all the wiring is super clean. Some of your fuses are up here. And then over here is going to be more of that master volt system. Very impressive the way that's all wired. And then below these cushions, there are seat belts up front here. So 8 seat belts total. And then in this storage, this is going to be those lithium batteries for the master volt system, battery 1 and 2. And then that 3000 watt. This is a big boy inverter for a smaller rig like this. Really set up to go off grid. That's a very expensive master volt system that they have in this rig as well. And there's no generator in this rig, but I actually have a similar system to this on my boat where the lithium battery system charges off of just the alternator. And I've got to say, it's super impressive. I've never missed having a generator. It's less stuff to maintain when you've got to change your oil on your generator every year. Just one less thing to service, and then not having a generator, not having the fumes of a generator, the noise of the generator, and to be able to run your ACs off of just that master volt system is incredible technology. And the owner also mentioned that if you own one of these earth cruisers, it's very smart to have the tech support from a company called XVS out of Bend, Oregon, and he will pay for a 1-year subscription for the new owner of this rig. Now, I think you guys want to take this for a test drive, but let me show you how the toilet works here real quick, and then we'll take it for a quick spin around the block. So this is something, it's hidden out of the way, and he says it surprisingly doesn't, have a lot of aromas. So then to pull out the toilet, we've got 2 little levers right here. You're going to push this lever down, and boom, now we've got our composting toilet. So I see the plumbing there. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but it's got the composting toilet. So I know a lot of people prefer this over the cassette toilet, and I believe this was an option. We all got to do our business at some point, so nice to have that spot for that, but let's go take this coach for a test drive. The interior of this is extremely clean. It still smells new, and the first thing I'm noticing is the nice touches like the Earth Cruiser logo overhead here with USB ports. Above here, I've got my 20-50-inch ditch backup, rock, bull bar, more USB ports. That's gonna be for off-road use only up there. But let's take this for a quick ride around the block here. I think this has been more of a pavement princess than some of the Earth Cruisers out there. So we're gonna fire this gasoline engine up here. Standard, you know, Mitsubishi. I know they use a lot of these for like delivery trucks, and it's a very wide area up here. You've got a larger sitting area than a truck or other vehicles out there. And then the gasoline engine is going to be below this compartment here, so there's latches if that needed to be reached for serviceability. Here we've got the front and rear axles, again with that Earth Cruiser logo, nice little touch. And then here's the controls for our off-roading. USB port, got a large panel up here, but let's see how this bad boy drives. I feel like maintenance on these are probably pretty low, being a gasoline engine. And it's a little different feel. It definitely feels a lot smaller than the big 45-foot diesel coaches that we drive. And we'll see how the turning radius is here. There's a rock right there, so I'm a little bit nervous, but I think we're good, yeah. Yeah, super tight turning radius on this rig. Really smooth for, you know, how robust of an off-road vehicle this is. It's got a little bit of bounce, you know, not too much noise. And if you did want to go to the coach part of the rig while you're going down the road, it does have that pass-through, and you could fold that seat down to access that a little bit easier. Yeah, we'll go for a quick cruise around the block. It's starting to warm up a little bit here in South Florida or Central Florida. So we are running the AC, the dash AC, so you might hear a little bit of that wind noise. The backup camera here is super clear, still showing up while we're going down the road, even at normal speeds. And these are super bumpy roads, so these roads are nothing compared to what this coach is built for. It's a little bit different. It's much more like driving a car, having the cab over, versus driving a Class A diesel pusher where you've got the windshield up front. It's just a much shorter wheelbase, so I didn't need to swing in that turn as much as I would have in a Class A diesel pusher. It kind of reminds me a little bit of driving like a Sprinter van. Of course, it's a little bit bigger, and we got those 37-inch tires, but I'm gonna get it going a little bit here. I'm going 30 miles an hour, still super comfortable. You know, this is definitely not built as much for the highways as it is to be off-road, so you know, that would be the real test, to really take this like out in the mountains of Colorado, you know, go several weeks off-grid. Be pretty nice. Go disconnect from reality for a little while. This would be the ultimate way to do it. The AC's blowing ice cold. And I think if, you know, someone wanted to, you know, if you had someone traveling with you and they wanted to lay down back here, I mean, this cab is huge, having the double cab. And then I'd like to learn more, but I see this metal structure here. You know, this with that roll bar I saw outside, it has a very safe feel to it. I'd like to learn more about this, and you know, if there's any information that we left out of this video, please drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your feedback. And here's our test. We're gonna take this in a cul-de-sac here and see if we can make a 360. And I feel like it's like not even close. They've got an appliance out there on the street, but we didn't even need, I mean, we had plenty of room to spare. So much easier to drive than like a big Class A diesel pusher. I think if someone was, you know, hadn't owned an RV before and, was going to be driving a bigger vehicle, this would be a much easier segue than jumping right into a 45-foot motorhome. And then, your off-roading experience, that's a whole different, level of experience needed to understand operating one of these off-road. I'm not an expert. You'd have to check out Matt's Off-Road Recovery. You could probably learn a couple things on that channel when they're pulling out rigs. But I think this vehicle is built so that you're not needing to call services like that. Oh, look at that. It's a nice little, looks like a Tiffin Allegro. Somebody's driveway there. Looks like they might be getting ready for a little vacation. Beautiful neighborhood here in Bradenton, Florida, where this rig is currently residing. It does have a garage there that we saw it in earlier. But hopefully one of you out there want to go take this rig and use it what it was built to be used for. I don't think this was built to be a pavement princess sitting in a garage here in Bradenton, Florida. I think somebody needs to take this out to the mountains of Colorado or Oregon or Northern California or Montana. There's so many cool places to go explore. A lot of those places are going to be more west of the Mississippi, but definitely this is the ultimate vehicle for it. We're going to leave the owner's information in the description below if you do want to purchase this rig. We greatly appreciate all of you subscribing to the channel and hope you're all having a great day. Thanks again.